Good morning, everybody. 8:30 a.m. here on December 26th. We're going to do a quick update stream. Not very long, but I do want to hop on here. I have a lot of questions and comments, messages coming into the page, so I want to try and hit everything all at once with this briefing slash update stream. So current time, again, 8:31 a.m. And we have a few updates and tweaks to talk about. So current radar on your screen right now. We started the morning off with a little bit more dry air in the southeast Michigan area, and we expected the heaviest to be in this general region, whereas the current models and the current live data we're looking at has kind of started to shift that heavier swath of freezing rain to the north. Now, we're still going to get freezing rain down here. In fact, we have some moving in right now. Looking back here to the west in the Grand Rapids region, this is going to be moving our direction here in the next couple of hours. So we're not done with the freezing rain yet, but overall looks a bit drier. We got some dry pockets moving in there, which will likely cut down on overall ice accretion in that southeast Michigan area. Another change we're seeing here, we're seeing on the radar different colors, and that's basically the radar's best guess of what precip is falling. Taking a peek at temperatures over here from about Grand Rapids down to about Charlotte, down to Coldwater, temperatures are right around 33 or so degrees on the surface. So a lot of areas over here in the West Michigan, Kalamazoo, up to about Grand Rapids are seeing mostly just plain rain at this current time. So with that said, because you are a degree or two warmer than expected, you guys are getting all rain and less ice with this event. So that's good news up there, especially for the Metro Grand Rapids region and points southward for you guys there. Now I'm going to switch this over here to the northern part of this radar. Now, again, this is a best guess of what's falling here currently on the radar, but I do want to highlight this region up here from about Big Rapids over to about Bad Axe. This region is where the heaviest freezing rain has been and will continue to be over the next hour or so. And I'm already getting reports of power outages coming in Big Rapids and West Branch area. They're starting to pop up there, and that's largely thanks due to those higher ice accretion rates. But also a big factor that is being thrown in here is the wind. We have some gusts up to 30 to 40 miles per hour ongoing in the Big Rapids to Tri-Cities area, and that has resulted in some power outages this morning. And I do want to flip my screen over here now to the models and also some outage maps so you guys can get some visual on this. So bear with me. Switch this over here. So first and foremost, just a quick look here. Surface temperatures. Yesterday's model runs, we're looking at 29, 20, 28, 30 degrees or so. This morning, we're seeing 31, 32, 30, largely thanks to a little bit warmer than expected, which is leading to a little bit less ice further south and further east. So that's good news. But up there in the thumb, back through that West Branch, Big Rapids area, we're seeing temperatures 28, 29, 27, 30, 31. That's going to be the corridor that's favored for the bigger ice accretion rates. So going over here to the outage map, we are now up to 11,000 people out of power on the consumer's energy map. And a lot of these centered from Mount Pleasant back toward Big Rapids up here toward West Branch areas. Those little colored boxes are where the outages are starting to come in at. But further south here from Lansing to the Detroit area, we're not really seeing too many outages at all. Roads and surfaces are still slick because a glaze of ice is enough to do that, but it's not accreting or not accumulating on surfaces just yet. It still has time to, but right now we are okay further south and further east. The statewide outage map here shows 11,686 people out of power, and a lot of those counties are highlighted up here. So Newaygo, Lake, Osceola, Clare, Mecosta, and Ogama County, as well as the Keweenaw County area. Got some outages as well in Muskegon County, but otherwise, over here in southeast Michigan, there's not many outages at all being reported. Looks like the heaviest or the most impacted county is Genesee, 106 there, but that's about all I'm seeing. So going back here to the future radar, this is going to be the important piece here. We still have time. We still have a lot of precip moving in from the west of us. So it still has time to start accumulating over in southeast Michigan on power lines and trees. But overall, it's just going to be a glaze for a lot of us here, a nice coating of ice on trees and power lines. It shouldn't be too big of a deal, but about 3 or 4 more hours to get through over there in East Michigan. The good things going for us right now, temperatures are a little bit warmer than expected and a little bit drier to start off with. So the combination of those two things really cutting in on expectations of ice totals, especially for South and East Michigan. Future radar here, 10 a.m. West Michigan starts to clear out here. 11 a.m. continues to clear out. By about noon or so, we're clearing the West Michigan area. And then East Michigan wrapping up here roughly 2 to 3 p.m. or so this afternoon. And by about that 3 p.m. time frame, things will be subdued and temperatures will start to rise here a little bit into the evening and then especially into tomorrow. So anything that is left on roads, trees, power lines will melt by the time you get to tomorrow morning and afternoon time frame. So overall, the forecast is looking okay. I will say the main caveats, like I said in the stream here, Southeast Michigan, a little bit drier to start and a little bit warmer than expected. So the combination is leading to a little bit less ice, but the trade-off is we have more coming. And also currently further north is where those heavier rainfall rates and accretion rates are currently ongoing. I will say as well, travel is being heavily impacted across the Tri-Cities region, especially up through northern Michigan. Even down Detroit metro area, side roads are being reported as very slick. So just because we're not seeing those major impacts to power lines and trees and so on and so forth, it's still going to be slick out there for travel. That was the main headline we tried to push yesterday and the day before that as well. So if you're out and about on the roads, be very cautious. Any questions here? No problem, guys. If you have reports, feel free to pop a comment on our Facebook page or send us a report via our group on Facebook, Michigan Weather Reports. We would love to see your guys' pictures, videos, reports, etc. Feel free to pop on there and drop a comment. I do want to take note as well, the last couple of scans here, we're going to start seeing a little bit of a moisture surge here. That was expected this morning. Look, all this is dry air. This was back here at 7:50 a.m., almost an hour ago here. And as we move this in toward current time, you can see it really start to fill in there, which is expected. But we started off a little bit drier. So that's at least some good news there. Roads are pretty bad across a lot of areas. Main roads on the Grand Rapids to Kalamazoo region seem to be okay. Lansing, as of an hour ago, was okay. The main really slick roads are up by the Tri-Cities, North Central Lower, and then Metro Detroit as well has been reporting side roads as very slick as well throughout Oakland, Macomb, Wayne counties. So keep that in mind as well. There's people reporting slick conditions all across the state, but those are the main areas I'm seeing a lot more incidents being reported. Things will clear up around 2 to 3 p.m. in the afternoon. If you're on the west side of Michigan, you'll be clearing up a little bit sooner than that. There's the Walkie Bridge up at the Saginaw Midland region, Bay City region. That is closed both directions. Latest outage map just jumped to 13,500 people out of power in the state, so we continue to see a steady rise there. This event, I'm going to say right now through about 10 to 11 a.m. is going to be peaking. So the peak rainfall rates are occurring now through about that 11 a.m. time frame. So the worst of it, if there's going to be anything bad that happens in terms of power outages and tree damage, is going to happen between now and that about noon time frame. Traverse City's a skating rink. Thank you for that, Chaos. Thanks, Kim. I'm feeling a lot better this morning. You guys can probably tell I'm stuffed up, but I'm feeling a lot better this morning. The good news is further south here toward Lenawee and Monroe counties, again, for all of really southeast Michigan, we really started this event dry here. Back the radar up. You can see all this dry air here back to 7:30 a.m. This is when it's supposed to start, really, but there is just so much dry air in this region that didn't really start to pick up intensity until just now. So this event, I would say, is just like now getting underway for southeast Michigan here. So we'll have to see how it accretes on surfaces, just because temperatures are a degree or two warmer than expected or than forecasted. So that may help cut down on better accretion rates. So that's going to be our hope. Let's keep it that way. I will switch back to the outage and also the drive map as well, and just kind of give you guys an overview, and I'll hop out of here. So I'll switch this over here. So the latest update on the outage map is 13,527 people, and those are congested up here in north central lower Michigan. Like I said, Newaygo, Lake, Osceola, Clare, Mecosta, Ogemaw County, as well as Keweenaw. Muskegon County out of power. There looks like 1,000 people there, or customers, should I say, not people, but customers. And then also looking at consumers' energy, you can see those are really centered around Big Rapids to about Mount Pleasant. There's also a couple areas up here by Prescott, West Branch out of power as well. Central Michigan, though, from Lansing region down to Jackson and Adrian, Hillsdale, we're clear sailing right now. Hopefully it stays that way. In East Michigan over here where DTE Energy is, no major outages are being reported over in this region yet. So let's keep it that way. Looking at the drive map here, let's go ahead and take off the layers real quick. There's your layers. So you can see there's some slowdowns sporadically out there where reds and yellows are across South Michigan. But the real impacts that we're seeing right now is with that heavier area of freezing rain up from about Big Rapids through Mount Pleasant through the Tri-Cities. And then anywhere north of there, it looks like the roads are a little bit more congested and slow going up there. Now, with the freezing rain rates picking up down here from Lansing points eastward, East Michigan, excuse me, we'll likely start seeing a little bit more in the way of slowdowns as the morning goes on. So things will likely deteriorate as we get through the noon time frame. So I would expect the worst of road conditions to be ahead of us still in southeast Michigan. But again, we'll have to keep an eye on how temperatures play out and how well ice can start to build up on surfaces. And I'll go ahead and say one more time for those of you just tuning in here, surface temperatures currently on your screen now. We're going to see, we saw yesterday at least, the forecast was for temperatures to be right around 29 to 30-ish degrees. But as you can see here, we're about a degree or two warmer across south central Michigan, which is good news. But the main area here, Grand Rapids, over to about Coldwater, we're at 33, 34. If you're really far west and south in Berrien County, 36, 37 degrees. That region is a little bit bigger than expected, but being that temperatures are warmer than expected, things have been just plain rain with minimal ice over there in the Grand Rapids and Point Southward region. So you guys over there are looking out with the system very, very nicely. Further east, though, because temperatures are a degree or two warmer, that may have an impact on how ice will start to build up on surfaces, maybe slower than expected. So that's really good news, at least right now. But again, further north here is a trade-off where colder temperatures here from Big Rapids over to the Thumb region, 29, 27, 28 degrees there, 30 or so. That's going to allow for ice to continue to build up, as well as the winds with this system making an impact as well, with those outages being really coming in around the Big Rapids region. So we'll have to keep a close eye on this region up here from the Tri-Cities back through Big Rapids, as right now that's the highest corridor and highest concern we have. But that may also shift further south and east here as we start to have more freezing rain moving into southeast Michigan. So it's a play-by-ear. The worst of this system is about the next 2 or 3 hours. It should be wrapping up here by 2 or 3 p.m. So we have a few more hours to go. Let's get through it here. And I will be here in the studio monitoring, posting updates. And like I said before, if you guys have reports yourself, pictures, video, or just plain reports of ice measurements, please leave a comment on our posts. We would love to see them. We go through comments a lot during these events, so we're looking all day. Overall, that's the update I have for you guys. One last look at comments here. 127 right now appears to be okay according to the drive map. But again, with freezing rain moving in here, I would expect conditions to deteriorate as we move into the later morning hours. One last look at the radar here. Before I switch this over, I will say, look at all the green down here from Lansing to Ann Arbor. A lot of green areas with sporadic yellow slowdowns. So nothing major yet happening on main highways here. County roads could be a little bit slick out there because state roads are treated, I guess, better, I'll say, than county and rural roads to begin with, at least. But when I switch this back over here to the radar, I'll end on this. For those of you who just tuned in, we are starting to see an increase in the freezing rain across South and East Michigan. So conditions will likely start to deteriorate. So as we go, this is back at 8 o'clock in the morning, so about 45 minutes ago. Now, 45 minutes later, we have an increase of the coverage of freezing rain. So conditions will begin to deteriorate here as that freezing rain starts to move in and starts to build on surfaces. So roads will likely become slicker, more slick as we move toward 11 o'clock especially. All right. I'm going to wrap it up there. We'll have updates on the page throughout the morning, so stay tuned. Stay safe, guys. Travel safe if you are out on the roads. And again, if you have reports, feel free. Comment on our page, any of our posts, as well as the post or the group on Facebook called Michigan Weather Reports. You can drop your own post in there. That goes directly to me here in the studio. I'll be able to look at those as they come in, as you guys send them in. So with that being said, I'm going to roll the outro. You guys enjoy your Friday. Stay safe out there, guys.